Hi, I'm Janice. I'm the fourth child of Andy Anderson, fourth of five, and I would like to share with you my father's philosophies on several topics that have influenced him and therefore thereby influenced myself, my siblings, our children, his grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. One thing that you speak about often and had the honor of is a mother and a father who were absolutely phenomenal people. Out of 8 children, where were you in the birth order?
Well, I was second to the youngest. My little sister was Mabel. She was a cute person. She got by on cute. I had to get by on running fast and getting out to work.
And so you joined the Marines, and where did that take you?
So Southern California. Have you ever heard of San Clemente?
San Clemente. And did you ever serve in on Treasure Island?
No.
What is that in the Bay Area?
1946. After the hostility ended, but I got the DI bill, so I stayed stateside all the time.
Well, San Clemente is close to where I live in San Diego. But so you did, though, go to the Bay Area where you met a pretty young woman named Josephine.
Yeah. After I got out of the service, I went to work for Hartford Insurance and go to school at night. So I met your mother at Hartford Insurance. So we got together there. So I was there 3 years, and I got a good start on my clouds.
And we lived in Mill Valley. I remember Mill Valley, and I remember that as being my oldest sister Sandy's favorite place. You lived in a bohemian village type place there? Yeah. And were you working with the Hartford when you lived there in Mill Valley?
I did for a while, but I decided when my brother died, it was a major turning point in my life. My brother was crippled, and we were very close. I helped him all I could. She had a stiff hip, so I helped him find a job. He learned to drive. He's smart enough, but he was limited physically. So I was with my brother a lot, and we were Lutherans. We had a strong affiliation with the Lutheran Church, but he died of kidney disease. I was just devastated. That was the worst time of my whole life. But I got the call to serve the Lord. So I went back to Chicago and enrolled in a teacher's college. My wife wouldn't be a minister's wife. She consented to be a teacher's wife. So I went to Concordia Lutheran Teachers College, and I got my credential. Then I taught in a Lutheran local school for 4 years. That's when Sandy started school, the year I started teaching.
Your brother Elvin's only daughter is one of Sandy's best friends, our cousin Tony, who's now a published author.
Yeah.
So?
My Sandy does really well in the writing area too.
Absolutely, you have a family of writers. Your education started early and continues now. You still go to the senior center and you're learning Tai Chi. I guess that's an ongoing thing, and sit and fit. And you taught for Ollie here, and you teach teachers about senior education.
Yeah, Ollie is also lifelong learning at University. Humboldt State got a grant from Carl Orser to offer short-term, not-credit courses that just interest older people. So anybody over 50 can take Ollie courses. So I was signed up for teaching Ollie classes. I wanted to teach my positive psychology, a virtues subject. So I did that for 3 times, 3 series of classes on the virtues.
And the virtues, was written, a book called Virtues was written by Linda Popoff.
Oh.
But certainly virtues is what your whole life has been about.
Yeah.
Doing good, being kind, the golden rule, but the virtues really resonated with you.
Yeah, it's a course of study organized to teach other people, but I have over 100 students graduate from my classes here in Eureka area.
It's quite an accomplishment. And all that well after 50.
I quit teaching 2 years ago because people were complaining that I have a speech impediment.
A little bit caused by a stroke. So what were some of the greatest challenges you faced in your family?
So my family, I hate to admit it, but I have a weak spot. I never had any sense of ownership or money. So I didn't care anything about money as long as I had enough. So I worked part-time and I went to school, but I didn't have any feeling for ownership. That for some reason I didn't want to own anything. I don't today. I used to own a car, but I gave it to Jeremiah. So all I want is to have enough to sustain the life and meet the exigencies of life, but money doesn't mean anything to me. Fortunately, I have a good retirement. I have enough money to last me the rest of my life.
And yet I never felt we were ever poor.
No.
I never felt that we had less than anyone else. In fact, our home was where everyone wanted to be. That made us rich in my eyes, and I think the rest of our family.
Yeah.
So I think that poor may be an attitude, certainly financial challenges.
Yeah.
So maybe you feel the loss of that, but I don't think that your children or your family felt the loss of that.
I'm aware of it, but I don't have anything to leave for my kids other than my collection of books. I have some first edition books, and I have a lot of marbles.
Well, leave us your marbles, because that's what we've been looking forward to. What would you like for your retirement?
Well, I like what's happening now. People call me and I commingle at the senior center, and I'm very much involved in the senior release concept. We're talking about that at Ali every 2 weeks. We have started a pilot program in November, but I'm 87. I don't want to wait until November, so I'm promoting brief classes as soon as possible. Just a cell group of telephone each other. So how are you, and what's going on, and how can I help, and what are your needs? So just like an old family party land when I was a kid, where I ring with 3 stores, but if mother wants to listen in on other conversation, she could. So that was a place of
The party line.
building up community, so the people know each other, and connections, because it's kind of lonely on the farm. So anyway, I like to promote the idea of connectedness. People feel at home, and when you comment, whenever I go, I'm recognized. I like that. I feed on that. I think other people want to dispel the isolation and loneliness that's ubiquitous.
How do you feel that technology can affect that?
Well, I'm just learning how to use the computer, but it's exciting to me because I'm old TV programs, and I discovered Pandora. So I can listen to classical music all day. So there's riches can come out in airways. So I like it in many ways, but I don't like to see people just punching on their phone instead of talking. I think heart to heart is better than communication.
Certainly. So apps like Skype or Viber, where you can actually see a person, might be a way that your concept of telephoning someone.
That's what we just we talked to her son up in Portland. We saw my grandson and his daughter, and it was very nice. It's a miracle.
But it seems like a miracle,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I don't understand it, but if we can use it, praise the Lord.
But if someone feels isolated and they can't get that physical hug, rather than have an artificial Facebook type conversation or a texting conversation, we can see each other, visually see each other.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's becoming a medical way of distance, doctors doing distance
Okay.
help for their patients so that they can actually see the pallor of the person. So maybe you can call somebody, see them and say, I see in your face there may be some concern, or there's some jubilant news in that face.
Yeah, Eric called last night. He was living in Colorado. I got a chance to see him. His
Lucia.
Lucia. So
And Vincent.
There's some very distinct advantages to having technology, and it's a challenge for me to learn, but I'm patient. I know it will need a new learning adventure for me.
So what does the 87th year of your life look like to you?
I'm at peace. I'm at peace with myself and the world around me. I have no contention, so I have lived all my enemies, so I don't have a thing to worry about. I wake up at 4 o'clock and run to my manway bank. I don't have anything to worry about. So I have something to do every day. So people and places to go. I can ride the bus to the library, and so it's different, but I spent a lot of money on my car. Now I can take girls out to dinner like I am Monday. So the lady is my age, my Jackie, she will take the bus over and we'll have lunch together and we'll part company. So my relationships, my presences are precious to me.
And Humboldt County has a very active senior community.
Yeah.
So there is something for everyone.
You bet, yeah.
And there are things like Dial-A-Ride, the bus things, so that there should be no reason why a person shouldn't be able to reach out. Is that a goal of yours to help put that in place with the village that you talked about? The senior village?
That transportation is an important element, but human contacts. I live near the Lazy J mobile home park. That maybe 50 people living there. Most of them are alone and isolated. So I ride my little three-wheel bike around and wave to them and talk to them. And so I think human interaction was the balm of life. So the healing balm of life. So touch somebody else in a positive way.
And how this year will you be doing that? How will you be moving towards touching someone in a positive way? And this is a G-rated program.
I go to meetings and classes. I go to the fellowship. Hundreds of people go to the Unitarian Fellowship. And
Jazz Festival?
Jazz Festival coming up very shortly. My friend Vicky and I were going to that about 6 or 7 years now, and I'm the host at that Jazz Festival. It gives me something to look forward to and renew old friends.
So what changes might you make if you could go back and do something differently?
Well, I think that I should have quit smoking learn earlier than I did. I quit smoking about 30 years ago. I have weak lungs. I get out of the wreck easy. But I'm doing the best I know how to take. I go to health sport about 3 days a week. I've been doing that for 10 years. I do Qigong and Tai Chi and exercises on stretching exercise. I have no problem with my joints, but older people usually do. But I exercise a lot, not to build up my strength, but to build up my muscle tone and harmonize my body. I try to keep my weight down, and so I can afford to eat whatever I want to, but fortunately I have the power to say no.
I wish that was the only regret that I had. I wish I'd quit smoking after 87 years. I wish that. I have an amazingly brilliant daughter. And one time she said to me, she's a very, very old soul, my daughter Yasi. She said, "Mom, you expect too much joy from me. You've always expected too much joy from me." And I said, "Hallelujah, I'm a success." If that's the worst my daughter has to say about me. So I think that's a life well lived. If quitting smoking 30 years earlier is the thing that you would change.
But another thing, at my age, I know everything, so I don't need to express my opinion on everything. So just forbearance and judgment. My kids, grandkids don't always do as I think, but I don't have to make any judgment about anything. I don't have to be bad at politicians or priests, or I don't have to castigate anybody. I don't have to make any negative judgment about anything. They're all on their own life paths, so I don't feel any anger.
I don't ever recall a racist idea or thought or idea passing in our household. You worked in Utah for Job Corps, which was predominantly African American, and you often brought the boys home, and we all grew up with a lack of any type of racism, and that's quite a gift in today's society.
Yeah, well, but father and mother was accepting of everything. They're all God's children, so my mother and father take in people and do what they can for them. They didn't call them genuine bums. They didn't put them down. So everybody is equal. So I was raised with that quality for everybody.
I would say that if I were going to think that there was one attitude I would have liked you to have taught us differently, which is probably incorrect, is that I felt somehow it would be shameful to have more money than the person who lived next door. So I think that's a very positive thing, that you felt very, very much of a sense of family and community. It's not right to have more than the Joneses. Give to the Joneses if the Joneses need it, or the Sampsons, or whoever needs it. And so I grew up thinking, shouldn't it be okay to have a nicer car? But you know what? All in all, that made me feel rich. I always feel rich.
Well, I think it's endemic on society. They think more is better. More is better. Well, I think less is better. I'm proud of the fact I gave 20 talks to high school students all over the area. What you are is more important than what you have. Public schools' main idea is produce consumers and producers. I object to that. I think the objective to make people stronger and better inside. So I think there's too much emphasis on things. So as we get older, we are divesting ourselves of things. My hundreds of books I give a box of course week to the library for resale, and I think as we get older we don't have to be a house of things. When we finally realize that we're complete on ourselves and not the things around us.
I would like to know how you would choose a leader. Let's just say the leader of a congregation, or in your case, a Unitarian church or center. How would you choose? What would you consider a good leader?
Well, I think the summum bonum, the ultimate good for people is peace. Peace and equality and kindness. I think anybody pays equality, peace and kindness, I will join their congregation. So I don't think with separation and anger and contention, they don't need that. Peace and personal involvement and equality is my mantra. Peace and freedom and equality.
That's very altruistic and wonderful, but there is always contention among a gathering of people. I want to know, I would like to learn how to choose a good leader. From everything from the leader of my needlepoint group to the leader of my country. What criteria would you consider important?
So I think we should practice what we preach. When this minister is going to look at the collection plates, he should look at the change in people's hearts. So my oldest son, he tried to make everybody right, and he just doesn't judge anybody. He is a good Methodist minister. He believes in equality. Everybody is welcome, and he sees everybody equal.
He has. I have never seen any judgment in my older brother Wally. No judgment whatsoever. So would that be a problem in being a let's say a councilman?
I don't know. It's a balance. You have to walk a twin loop so we can reach other people. You can't live for other people. You have to be what you're trying to be. I was a teacher. I was always been a teacher. As soon as I learned something, I was trying to share. So I'm a teacher yet, but I'm teaching in many different ways. By example, everybody is equal. So that's one thing I can pass on to somebody else. So the equality, you're all right. You're all right just the way you are. With your special circumstances, you're all right just the way you are. Start where you stand. Start where you stand and emanate good cheer and good feelings for everybody.
Here's another phrase that you use going back to the senior community. You've said for many years, don't nurse and rehearse a problem, which I think is a fabulous philosophy, and from any age, but particularly seniors. And I think that these communications that you have are so important in resolving issues, so they aren't nursed along, and the pain and the hurt and the bitterness and the things that hold us back from living a full and brilliant life.
So it's so easy to search your memory banks and remember some of the near misses and things that almost happen. So it turned her to think about, don't to dwell on them. Don't want to dwell on them. Believe it or not, I made a few mistakes myself. But
This is a shock.
I don't dwell on this, but it's lost in my mind. I meditate a couple of times a day for a half hour, and I practice being totally aware and present at this time. I'm here, I'm totally here. So I sought everything out. I was meditating at this Ellsworth the other day, and a man has two little boys, and she said, after I quit meditation, he said, I'm sorry, I disturb you. I said, no, don't be sorry, because your most important job is writing those children, so don't mind me. So he said, well, I understand meditation is important too. So I want to control my mind. So can you read the back of this card?
This is Andy Anderson's business card. If you haven't seen it, it's a fabulous card. It says Andy Anderson, MA, Master Teacher Facilitator, Life Coach, Senior Concerns, and gives you his contact. But this is a quote by Lao Tzu. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. I think that's how we choose a leader.
Yeah. So that's what I do every day, try to master myself.
We'll look forward to your 88th birthday. I know that they are planning 88th birthday parties for you around town because it has been discussed. But I hope that on your 88th birthday we can talk about goal setting and what goal setting we each do at each age, whether it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82. We all need a goal. We all need a purpose. We all need to go outside every single day, rain or shine or snow or hail, but go outside and put our face in the sun. And you used to walk without sunglasses and say, I just need the sun in my face. And that's part of living.
Yeah. I think we're blessed with fresh air here. Fresh air, onshore breezes. I think breathing is very important to your attitude, your health. So I live about a mile from the ocean. So I can go out every day and breathe deeply and thank the spirits that be for the privilege of living in clean air and fresh air. It's been a pleasure, and it could continue to be a pleasure as long as I live.
Thank you, Papa.